my university you mentioned. My question is, I'm going to focus on Ghana. Because about the UK, I can talk to other people. Let's focus on Ghana. It's a continent where we're trying to see what we can do in Ghana. So Ghana, education. I'm an educator. So my question is, one thing I've noticed is that a lot of private schools have been set up by people who have the money, but it's not necessarily addressing some of the needs of our time, some of the challenges that young people are going to face in 10, 20, 30, same here in the UK. You mentioned, Queen, you mentioned at the beginning that we need schools. So my question is, what type of schools do we really need? And also, this is my question in the UK, because this is what I'm working at the minute. I see young kids in primary schools and secondary schools here who are lost, who don't know themselves, who have a low quality of education, whose education doesn't address their identity, their learning style. Yeah, and I think it's something that needs to be addressed in the UK, and which I'm going to take action and address it myself with other people, with other people's help. But I get a bit passionate now, so focusing. Yes, that's the question. What type of education do you think we need to bring to Africa? Yeah, Ghana, Africa.
Right. That's a very good question, and I think it also ties in with the whole idea that the youth in Africa are being westernized. I believe passionately that changing what is happening even in the UK, because as our brother said, they are all our children. Changing the dynamics of youth violence culture in the UK starts with going back to basics and teaching a sense of identity. So if you ask me what kind of education, I will say listen, if you expect a Western style education, because you have to have it because that's the system you're in, to educate your child about your identity, about your culture, about the reason why they should take pride in their hair, in their skin. You don't need, and love it as I do, you don't need Beyonce to sing Brown Skin Girl for you as a parent to teach your child to take pride in who they are. Now, there is plenty within society, including within our churches, etc., that are somehow teaching our children that there is something fundamentally wrong with them as Africans. Now, I've asked, when I've spoken to young people in educational settings, I've said, if God was to come down now, and seeing as it says we're created in his image, in whose image do you think he will appear to the African? And that is the basis of what type of education we should be bringing to Africa. First, we need to go after this. The education that says you are fine as you are. The education that says within the dynamic of a global system, there is the reason why the Almighty made you who you are. And the only reason that you feel that you have to hide yourself, the only reason that you feel that you're not good enough is because somebody has gone in there and told you time and again that there is something wrong with you, that the melanin in your skin is wrong. Now, I don't know about you, recently it was really hot in the UK. And as I was going about my daily activities, I kept thinking, actually, it's such a good thing that hot as it is, UK was hot African proportions. Hot as it is, I am not burning. And how beautiful is that? And I'm going to tell you something else very significant. Recently, it was two things were discovered. One was that the first individuals that inhabited these United Kingdoms was a black person. Second, I don't know if anybody has learned about the hypochondrial DNA analysis. That says, yes, mitochondrial DNA analysis has discovered that the first human being, we all come from one entity. Our DNA can be traced to one individual. white, black, blue, green. And that is a black African woman. Now, this is very, very significant. I mention this because if you think of civilization, if you think of the many achievements before we got, I always say we got joined to our so-called colonial masters. And that's a whole, one day I'll come back and we'll have a whole other conversation about the dynamics of that, because I think that needs context as well. Somebody wanted, if you want to create a business, you do whatever it takes to create that business. Somebody wanted to create a legacy of wealth, and they did whatever it took to get that legacy of wealth, which is why you have Western societies that are rich. And so to bring that back to education, if you want to start your legacy of wealth, go after the mind. Yes. This thing that has taught our kids that they must see each other on the streets. And if they're divided, who told our children that if they're divided by a postcode, they must go after each other? Now, there's a movie, I always get it wrong, my daughter will correct me. I don't know whether, is it Game of Thrones or the other one? The one where they have to take each other out until the last one is standing. Hunger Games. The Hunger Games dynamic is what we're seeing. Now, if you consider that young black men, especially the seed givers are taking each other out, you begin to question the agenda behind it. Because those who give the seed for us to multiply are killing each other. So it's no longer someone taking a gun or a knife to them, and so we can turn around and say, why are you killing our sons? They're killing each other. And for what? Somebody has said, if you live here and I live here and you cross over to my territory, I have to take you out. Begin to get into the mindset that tells them they must see melanin and hate it.
Yeah.
Listen, in every household, siblings will fight. Not every brother and sister love each other. But when we understand that even if I don't like you, I must be able to work with you for the common purpose. That is the beginning of the type of education we should be bringing to Africa. And so our young people have lost the sense that, listen, I may not like James over there. He annoys me. And there are people who annoy me who look like me. That's normal. But I am going to work because my agenda is to elevate Africa, to elevate my brothers and sisters. And how do I do that? If I begin, in my country, we have something called Tsotsoo. Tsotsoo. Yes. And if I determine that within this room, we're going to come together and build, let's say, an educational facility, translate that to as many such groupings and see how much money we can raise if each gives £10 only. Teach economics, how we can be economically strong. So our young people don't have to go begging for jobs elsewhere. Listen, Britain wants this to happen, mind you. It's in Britain's interest. Because the only reason we have the hostile environment, somebody has determined that after getting my brothers and sisters to come here and build Britain, somehow, although the statistics say only about 10 to 15 or maybe 20% of the ethnic minority population make up the whole of United Kingdom, that UK is being overrun. And therefore, we must have an environment that says, if you're in this hostile environment, you feel so uncomfortable that you have no choice but to go where you came from. Yes, we want to go back, but teach economic understanding. Teach a self-identity. Don't teach your young people that your hair is fine. It's beautiful. You can weave it in many styles. You can do many things to it. Teach them that your food is natural and it is good. It's life-giving. Teach them that you don't have to bleach yourself in order to be accepted. Because when God created the white man, he made no mistake. And when he created the black man, he made no mistake either. Therefore, the type of education that you need is economic. The type of education that you need is self-realization, first of all. And you need the type of education that looks at religion. And that is a whole thing. We don't have time.
The one thing the Honourable Minister Farrakhan has taught us that business is warfare. And business is life's activity. So everything we engage in is a business transaction. So it's important that we always come away with a profit. Yeah? All right. So with that said, I wanted to also engage yourself, Sister Charmaine, because you successfully are the co-founder of Black History Studies. So in trying to find a balance between where Africa is and where Africans in the diaspora are, what type of balance do we need so that we don't overdo it on either side, where we can find an even keel to formulate a new curriculum wherein our brothers who haven't left the continent can understand us who have been away for centuries, and for us who are returning can have an appreciation for where our brothers and sisters are.
So, we at Black History Studies do that. So basically, it's all about education. I believe that education is very key. Educate, why are we talking about Africa? Why Africa? Because my parents are from Jamaica. So I didn't grow up into learning about Africa until in my 20s, but I had music around me. I had reggae music listening to. So you hear certain people talking about music. So education is the key. Mindset as well. Open up, be able to distinguish between the lies and the truth, because there's a very negative stereotype about Africa. Why is that? And we have to go and seek out the positives out there. Like I said before, we need to have open, honest conversations with people. Actually travel to these places. This is the whole reason why we set up Black History Study tours, because we want to go and visit people around the world, not just in Africa, not just in the Caribbean. Our brothers and sisters are on the continent of Europe. We was in Brussels recently. Our brothers and sisters in Brussels are going through the same issues that we're going over here. We're talking about Brexit. Brexit is connected with the people in our locality, so that's Europe. Then we can go to Africa and everywhere else, because our brothers and sisters are all over the world. We have no excuses now. Marcus Garvey was able to mobilize over 11 million people without internet, without Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. So we have no excuses now. We have to, like I said, I'm not the type of person that looks at the solution or not the problem. There are many ways we can come together globally and educate ourselves about our history. I think that's very important, and use the mediums out there. So educate ourselves, change our mindset, come together and look at how do we make our money grow in this country. So I'm always talking about financial education, economic financial literacy, making our money grow. Where do we invest our money? How do we pool our resources together? Because we can do everything that we're speaking about on this panel here today. We can do that now.
Sure,
We
absolutely.
just start thinking as a collective, and start pooling our resources together. We can stop the issues that we see now.
Absolutely.
We can fund our own trade missions to go and visit these countries together and provide opportunities for our young people. So, for example, summer holiday. This is the time where they see that the crime rises during the summer holiday because we're no longer engaging. There's young people in the community eating one meal a day because they're not eating school dinners at school. How do we address that? So, for example, could we organize summer exchange programs to go to Ghana, where young people learn about Ghana, learning about economics, entrepreneurship, growing our own food, all of these things, and then bring them back. So they realize that England is not the only place to go. There's no postcode luxury, and we must love each other, love our brothers and sisters. But we as adults have to do that ourselves. Because we can't just put it on our young people. Because if our young people are seeing us not working together proactively and fighting each other and fighting over nonsense, we can't blame the young people, because we have to see what we see. Because our young people are watching us. Even though we don't realize they watch everything and repeat what we do.
I was with my grandson yesterday, and everything I did, he was like, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Yeah.
Like, he wanted to know what everything was.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to answer in the proper context.
Yeah.
But you are right, they are watching and they are an extension of us. I want to go through these hands that I had up. Who was number one?
Achomi na Adjelik Bojokwe, Nimbiane Nyanko, Gokkush TV, Nyeyiradon. My name is Na Adjelik Bojokwe, and right now you're watching Gokkush TV. Thank you.